The stars looked quiet, like frozen sparks in the endless dark. Commander Ryan Cole had seen thousands of stars before, but tonight felt different. His ship drifted above a blue-gray planet, a world that wasn't on any map. The scanners showed life, faint, strange, and unknown. That was enough to make him land. As his shuttle broke through the clouds, flashes of silver lightning moved across the sky. The air shimmered with colors he had never seen before: violet, green, and something like gold smoke. His boots touched the soft ground with a thud. The soil was warm, glowing faintly like it was breathing under his feet. Ryan lifted his scanner. Oxygen level normal. Life signs 1 nearby. He turned slowly. The wind moved through tall blue plants that sounded like whispering voices. He thought maybe it was the wind. But then the whisper said his name. He froze. Commander Ryan Cole. The voice was soft and musical. I'm not human. He slowly looked around. His heart beat faster. Then he saw her. A figure stood between the glowing plants, tall and graceful, her skin shining like polished silver. Her hair floated behind her like a soft mist. 2 bright eyes, not blue, not green, but something in between, glowed faintly in the dark. Ryan stepped back. His hand went to his weapon, but he didn't pull it out. She raised her hands calmly. Don't be afraid, human. Her words were perfect English, but with a rhythm that didn't sound human at all. Ryan swallowed hard. Who are you? The girl tilted her head, curious. My name is Lyra. I am from the Velan colony. And you are human, yes? Yes, he said slowly. I'm an explorer. I didn't know anyone lived here. Lyra smiled, and the marks on her face glowed brighter. We live everywhere humans don't look. That made him blink. There was something teasing in her voice, like she knew something he didn't. Ryan's eyes scanned her again. She looked mostly human, but there was something off. Her fingers had an extra joint. Her pupils were shaped like tiny stars, and a soft blue light pulsed through the veins of her arms. She stepped closer, and Ryan noticed her eyes changing color, from green to silver, then to gold. You're not from the war, she said softly. You're peaceful. I'm not here for war, Ryan replied. I just wanted to see who was out here. Lyra studied him for a long moment, her expression unreadable. Then she asked, May I see you? Ryan frowned. See me? She moved closer and touched his helmet lightly. The surface of his visor shimmered and became transparent. Her eyes widened as she looked at his face. So simple, she whispered. And yet, alive, Ryan chuckled nervously. Thanks, I guess. Lyra tilted her head again. Humans, 2 eyes, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2... She paused suddenly and stared at him with a curious expression. Wait, she said softly. Only 2? Ryan blinked. 2 what? She smiled strangely. Nothing, but the look in her eyes said it wasn't nothing. The silence stretched. The glowing plants around them started to move again, swaying like they were listening. The air shimmered brighter, and Ryan felt a strange pulse through his boots, like the ground itself was alive. He cleared his throat. So, Lyra, you said you're from a colony. How many of your people live here? Only me, she said calmly. The others left long ago. This world is not kind to us anymore. Her voice grew softer, almost sad. Ryan wanted to ask more, but her eyes caught his again, and he forgot what he was going to say. They were hypnotic, glowing with quiet fire. Lyra took another step closer. Tell me, human, how do you live with only 2? Ryan frowned again. 2 what? He asked a second time. This time she smiled wider, a hint of mischief in her eyes. You'll see, she said softly. In time. Then before he could speak again, the air crackled. A faint hum rose around them, and her body glowed brighter. Ryan's scanner went wild, flashing red. Energy spike detected. The ground trembled, and a column of light shot into the sky from somewhere far away. Ryan stumbled, shielding his eyes. When he looked back, Lyra was staring at the light, her face calm but her voice low. They're coming, she whispered. Who's coming? Ryan shouted over the rising hum. She looked at him again, eyes now burning bright gold. You shouldn't have come here, human. Then the light flashed again and everything went silent. Ryan stood frozen, heart pounding. Lyra's glowing figure was still there, calm, watching him. But now she seemed different. Older, wiser, more dangerous. And then she smiled again, softly, almost playfully. Welcome to Vela, Commander. Let's see how well your kind adapts. The storm of light faded behind her, but her words stayed in his mind, echoing again and again. 2? Only 2? Ryan didn't understand what she meant, but deep inside, he knew one thing. Whatever she was hiding, it was something he wasn't ready to see. The strange light faded into the sky, leaving behind soft silence and a faint golden mist. Commander Ryan Cole stood still, breathing heavily, his heart still racing from what he had just seen. The air felt charged like after a thunderstorm, yet calm and alive at the same time. He turned to look for Lyra, but she was already walking away, tall, graceful, and glowing faintly under the dim sky. "Wait," Ryan called out. "You said they're coming." "Who's coming?" Lyra stopped, her silver hair swaying like smoke. She looked back at him with an unreadable expression. "No one you need to fear," she said softly. Not yet, that didn't help. Ryan jogged to catch up, his boots sinking slightly into the soft, breathing soil. "You have a strange way of saying not yet," he muttered. She didn't laugh, but her lips curved slightly. "Humans always want clear answers, but the universe doesn't speak in straight lines." Ryan sighed. "And yet you speak perfect English." Lyra touched the small glowing device on her wrist. "I studied your kind for years. Language is simple. Emotion is not," that caught his attention. "You've studied humans?" "Yes," she said. "Your history, your wars, your mistakes, your love stories. I learned from your transmissions, your data signals. You humans are fascinating." Ryan raised an eyebrow. "And why's that?" Lyra turned her gaze toward the horizon, where the twin moons were rising. "Because you keep surviving," she said, "even when logic says you should not." There was a pause, a quiet one, filled with the sound of distant wind and glowing trees moving gently in the light. Ryan felt something shift inside him. For the first time, he didn't see her as an alien. She was something more. They walked together through the mist toward a cluster of crystal-like structures in the distance. They looked like tents made of glass, shimmering with soft blue light. "Is that your camp?" he asked. "Yes," Lyra replied. "It's where I study, where I live, alone." The way she said alone made Ryan's chest tighten a little. He knew that feeling all too well. Months alone in space, hearing nothing but the hum of the engines. Inside the glowing camp, everything looked alive. The walls pulsed faintly like breathing skin. Small orbs floated in the air, projecting holographic patterns that changed color with Lyra's touch. Ryan looked around in awe. "This is incredible," he whispered. She smiled proudly. "Valen design. We grow our technology instead of building it. It understands us." He reached out to touch one of the floating orbs, but it moved away. Lyra laughed softly. "It doesn't trust you yet." "Just like its owner," he said with a grin. Her expression softened. "Perhaps." She motioned for him to sit. The surface of the floor shifted slightly, forming a soft seat beneath him. She sat across from him, her eyes glowing faintly gold now. "Tell me about your people," she said. "Why do you keep going so far from home?" Ryan thought for a moment. "Because we're curious. We always want to know what's out there. Sometimes, we want to prove we can survive it." Lyra nodded slowly. "That sounds like us once." "Once?" Her gaze fell. "Before the collapse. Before we learned that curiosity can destroy." Ryan leaned forward. "What happened to your people?" She looked up again, her face calm but her eyes distant. "We changed too much. We forgot what it meant to be simple. To live." Ryan didn't know what to say. The silence between them grew heavy but not uncomfortable. Then suddenly Lyra stood up and walked to a console glowing beside her. She pressed her hand against it and a soft light scanned her palm. "I have studied many species," she said quietly. "But humans still confuse me." Ryan smiled. "We confuse ourselves too." She turned to him, eyes bright again. "May I study you?" He blinked. "Study me? You mean like an experiment?" "No," she said with a small laugh. "Just observe. Learn how you move, breathe, react." Ryan hesitated but nodded. "All right. Just no needles," she giggled, a light musical sound that echoed softly around the glowing chamber. Then she lifted a small sphere that floated up between them. It emitted a faint blue mist. "Hold still," she said. "It will scan your biological systems." The sphere circled him slowly, projecting tiny lights across his body. Lyra watched the holographic readings carefully. Her eyes moved rapidly, analyzing the data. Then she frowned. "What's wrong?" Ryan asked. She didn't answer right away. Her glowing eyes studied the results, then flicked back to him. This cannot be right, she said softly. Ryan stood. What did it find? She tilted her head, confused and fascinated at the same time. You only have 2, Ryan groaned. 2 what? You keep saying that. Lyra's lips curved into a mysterious smile. You'll understand soon. Your kind truly is strange. She turned away, saving the holographic data with a gesture. Ryan followed her, frustrated but also deeply curious now. Lyra, he said, you're not telling me everything. She looked back at him, her expression unreadable, her eyes glowing gold again. No, she said softly, because some truths are better seen, not told. The light dimmed around them as if the whole camp could feel the tension. Outside, the twin moons glowed brighter and the wind began to hum again. Ryan stood still, his heart beating faster. He didn't know what she meant, but something inside told him that whatever she was hiding was not just science, it was something far stranger. The night sky over Vela shimmered with strange colors, gold dust and pale blue lights moving like rivers above the clouds. Commander Ryan Cole sat beside the alien campfire, watching how the flames didn't burn red or orange but silver and white. The fire gave no heat, only light, like a living thing that breathed gently. Lyra sat across from him silent, her glowing eyes reflecting the silver flames. For a while, neither of them spoke. The world around them whispered, soft hums, faint movements, the sound of air alive with energy. Ryan broke the silence. So, are you going to tell me what that scanning thing found? Lyra smiled faintly. You are still thinking about that? Of course I am, Ryan said. You kept saying 2 like it's some kind of insult. She laughed softly, a sound that made the air shimmer. It's not an insult. It's just surprising. My people have always believed humans to be an unfinished design. Unfinished? Ryan frowned. We've built ships that cross galaxies. I'd say that's pretty finished. Technology isn't the same as perfection, she said. Your kind learns fast, but you evolve slowly. Ryan folded his arms. You mean you think your species is better? Lyra tilted her head, studying him. Not better, just different. The way she said different made Ryan uneasy. He looked at her again. Her silver skin, the faint blue glow moving under her veins, the way her eyes changed color with every breath. She didn't seem dangerous, but she didn't seem safe either. He leaned forward. Different how? Lyra hesitated, then stood and motioned for him to follow. Come. You'll understand better if I show you. Ryan followed her through a narrow path behind the crystal camp. The ground was soft, glowing with faint ripples of light under their feet. They passed under a giant arch of living crystal that pulsed like a heartbeat. Inside was a circular chamber filled with hovering orbs and silver strands of energy floating in the air. Lyra touched one of the orbs, and it brightened. A holographic shape appeared, the outline of a body, human in form, glowing blue. This, she said, is you. Ryan stepped closer, watching his holographic reflection, heart rate, blood flow, organs, everything displayed in glowing detail. Now, Lyra said, this is me. The blue light shifted to gold. Another form appeared beside his, taller, more slender, with faint glowing lines running across the chest and down the spine. At first, Ryan thought it was just nerves or veins, but then he noticed something strange. A third system of moving light running down the center of her body. He blinked. What is that? Lyra's lips curved slightly. Our third core, the part that makes us Valen. Ryan frowned, squinting. Third core? You mean like an organ? She nodded slowly. Yes, a biological system your kind never developed. Ryan tried to understand what he was seeing. The hologram showed 3 distinct flows. Red for blood, blue for energy, and a glowing gold stream running through the center. What does it do? He asked. Lyra looked at him, her eyes glowing brighter. It connects mind, body, and memory. It keeps us whole. It lets us heal faster, think deeper, and remember beyond one life. Ryan's eyes widened. You mean, you remember your past lives? Not exactly, she said softly. We inherit pieces, emotions, memories of pain or love. Our third core carries them forward. Ryan stepped back, trying to take it all in. That's impossible. Impossible for humans, Lyra replied gently. Not for us. He looked again at the hologram, then at her. So that's why you said I have only 2? Yes, she said with a small smile. Your body works with 2 systems, physical and neural. Ours has 3. It's what keeps us balanced. Ryan stared at her, half amazed, half skeptical. And what happens if someone doesn't have that third one? Lyra's smile faded. She looked away. They die young, or lose their mind. It's like losing a piece of your soul. The air around them grew quiet. The floating lights dimmed slightly, as if the whole room felt the weight of her words. Ryan spoke softly. Is that why you're here alone? Lyra didn't answer right away. Her glowing eyes flickered, once silver, then gold, then dim. My core is unstable, she said finally. The energy on this planet weakens it. That's why my people left. I stayed to find a way to heal it. Ryan took a step closer. You stayed alone? Why risk that? She looked at him with a faint smile. Because I am not afraid to die for discovery. Isn't that what humans do too? Ryan felt something twist inside him. She was right. Every explorer, every scientist, they all risked everything for knowledge. For truth. He gave a small nod. Maybe we're not so different after all. Lyra's smile grew warmer. Perhaps. But your species still surprises me. How so? Her eyes glowed again, brighter this time. Because even with only two, you still try to understand the third. Ryan chuckled. You make it sound like a mystery. She tilted her head. It is, but don't worry, human. You'll see soon enough. Her words hung in the air, strange, promising, and a little frightening. The chamber lights dimmed again as the two of them stood there, surrounded by floating orbs and whispers of energy. Ryan looked at the glowing hologram one more time, his body beside hers. 2 against 3, and felt something deep inside him shift. He didn't know it yet, but this discovery would change not just what he believed about her. It would change what he believed about humanity itself. The alien night was calm again, though the sky shimmered faintly like rippling glass. Commander Ryan Cole sat near the glowing camp, his mind spinning with questions. The image of the hologram, the third glowing system in Lyra's body, kept replaying in his head. He leaned back, staring at the stars. A third core, he muttered to himself. How does that even work? Behind him, a soft hum filled the air. Lyra was adjusting one of her energy crystals. Her hands moved gracefully, the silver light of her skin reflecting against the dark. Ryan turned. You know, on Earth we study evolution all the time, but nothing like that ever came up. 3 cores? It sounds like something from a bad science fiction movie. Lyra smiled faintly. Humans call many truths fiction before they are ready to believe them. Ryan chuckled. Yeah, well, I'm still not ready to believe that glowing gold thing inside you. It sounds too magical. Magic, she said softly, is only science you don't understand yet. Ryan tilted his head. Then explain it. Properly this time. Lyra looked at him for a moment, then nodded. All right, human, come. She led him deeper into her camp to a round structure that pulsed with soft gold light. Inside, the air felt warm and heavy, like walking into a heartbeat. Strange symbols glowed on the walls, moving slowly, alive with light. In the center floated a sphere of golden liquid energy. It spun silently, small sparks rising and falling inside it. What is this? Ryan asked, eyes wide. This, said Lyra, is a living memory. My core's echo. It helps me control my energy when I'm weak. Ryan stepped closer. So that's part of you? She nodded. Every Valen has one. It grows with us. It stores our thoughts, our feelings, even the patterns of our souls. Ryan stared in wonder. That's incredible. But Lyra's face was calm, serious. It is also dangerous. If it breaks, the Valen dies. Ryan turned to her. And yours? Is it stable? A brief flicker crossed her eyes, and sadness, maybe fear. No, she said quietly. That is why I needed your help. My help? Yes, she said softly. Human energy is simpler, cleaner. It might help balance my core. Ryan hesitated. Wait, you want to use me as a power battery? She laughed gently. No, not like that. I only need to link our systems. A short connection. Link our systems? Ryan repeated, confused. Like, connect our biology? Yes, she said calmly, as if it were no big deal. He rubbed the back of his neck. Lyra, you realize that sounds extremely weird. She smiled slightly. Only to you. Before he could protest further, Lyra raised her hand. The golden orb split into 2 streams of light that wrapped softly around them both. Ryan felt warmth spreading through his body. Not painful, just strange. His heart rate jumped. What's happening? He asked. Lyra's voice was calm. Your cells are responding. Your two systems, heart and mind, are strong. My third core is reading them. Ryan looked at her. Her eyes glowed brighter than before, gold and silver mixing together. Her breathing slowed, her expression peaceful. Then suddenly the energy between them flared. A flash of light burst through the chamber, making Ryan stumble. Whoa, what was that? Lyra blinked, dazed, then started laughing softly. Interesting, she said. Your biology reacts faster than I expected. Ryan frowned. You sound like you just ran a science experiment on me. In a way I did, he groaned. Next time, maybe ask first. She smiled playfully. You didn't say no. Ryan threw up his hands. I didn't even understand what you were saying. Lyra giggled, a sound like crystal bells. Then, still laughing, she looked him straight in the eyes and said, Now I understand why you have only two. Ryan froze. What do you mean by that? She tilted her head innocently. You're kind. Simple but brave. Efficient but unbalanced. You survive on two systems, any brain and heart. We need three to stay alive, Ryan sighed. Yeah, I get it. You have three of everything. Lyra blinked once. Not everything, he frowned. What do you mean, not everything? She smiled, slow, teasing, mischievous. Some things we have one. Others we have three. Ryan's eyes narrowed. Wait, what are you talking about exactly? She didn't answer. Instead, she took a small silver crystal and pressed it against her chest. A hologram shimmered to life, a perfect glowing replica of her body, showing all three of her biological systems in motion. Ryan leaned closer, curious. Okay, I see your heart, brain, and the golden thing. Then he stopped mid-sentence. His eyes widened. Wait, what is that? Lyra's golden eyes sparkled. That, she asked sweetly. That's what makes us truly different. Ryan blinked hard, trying to understand what he was seeing. His face turned red. Wait. A third what? Lyra burst into laughter. Oh, human. You are so easy to surprise. Ryan stepped back, flustered. You can't just, that's not even, how does that? Her laughter filled the room like music. Relax, Commander, she said softly, still smiling. It's only biology. Only biology? Ryan exclaimed. That's insane. Lyra leaned forward slightly, amusement dancing in her glowing eyes. To you, maybe. To us, it's perfectly normal. Ryan ran a hand through his hair, trying to calm down. Remind me never to ask for a biology lesson again. Lyra laughed again, gentle and kind this time. Now you see, she said. Different does not mean wrong. It only means we evolved along another path. Ryan took a deep breath, still blushing. Yeah, well, next time maybe give a little warning. Lyra's smile softened. But if I did, would it be as much fun? Ryan couldn't help it. He laughed. The tension broke, and for a brief moment, they both stood there in the golden light, smiling at the absurdity of the universe. And somewhere deep inside, Ryan realized something. He wasn't just learning about alien life. He was learning how small, funny, and unpredictable humanity truly was, compared to everything waiting beyond the stars. The golden glow faded slowly from the air. Commander Ryan Cole still stood there, blinking, his mind spinning from what he had just seen. The alien camp was quiet again, filled only with the soft hum of energy and the sound of his own breathing. Lyra was smiling faintly, though her light had dimmed a little. The golden veins that glowed beneath her silver skin now flickered, uneven and weak. Ryan noticed it immediately. Hey, he said, stepping closer. You okay? She turned to him with a calm face, but her voice trembled slightly. I am fine. The connection drained a little energy, that is all. Ryan frowned. That doesn't sound fine. Lyra waved her hand dismissively. Valens are strong. We recover quickly. But even as she said it, her body swayed slightly. Ryan caught her before she could fall. Her skin was cold, not icy but empty, like a machine losing power. Whoa. Hey. Easy there, he said softly. She looked up at him, her glowing eyes flickering faintly. You are very warm, she whispered weakly. He gave a small, worried smile. That's because humans are basically walking heaters. Now sit down before you collapse completely. He helped her sit near the silver fire. The strange flames reflected off her face, which now looked pale and tired. Ryan crouched beside her. Lyra, tell me the truth. What's going on? She hesitated. It is my third core. He nodded slowly. It's unstable, isn't it? Her silence was the answer. Finally, she whispered, The planet's energy is wrong for us. It drains us. My people left because they could not survive here. But I stayed. I thought I could adapt. Ryan looked around at the shimmering air and glowing plants. So this world is killing you? In a way, she said softly. The radiation feeds on my core. It pulls it apart. Ryan shook his head. Then why didn't you leave with your people? Lyra smiled faintly, her voice barely above a whisper. Because I wanted to understand it. To learn why it affects us this way. Knowledge is worth the risk. Ryan stared at her, speechless for a moment. You stayed here out alone, knowing it could kill you? She nodded slowly. It is the duty of a Valen scientist. Ryan sighed, frustration and admiration mixing inside him. You aliens sure have strange ideas about bravery. Lyra looked at him with tired eyes. Don't humans do the same? You travel far from home into empty space, risking everything for curiosity. That hit him hard.
He smiled sadly.
Yeah, maybe we're both crazy. She gave a weak laugh. Maybe. The air around them pulsed softly as if the planet itself was breathing. Ryan looked up and saw faint blue lightning crawling across the clouds above the camp. The energy field was growing stronger. Lyra noticed it too. The storm is returning, she said softly. When it reaches this area, it will overload everything. Ryan stood quickly. Then we need to move. My shuttle is a few kilometers north. It can shield you from the radiation. She shook her head. I cannot travel far. My strength is fading. He knelt beside her. Then I'll carry you. Human, no. But before she could finish, he had already lifted her gently in his arms. She was lighter than he expected, like carrying light itself. Her faint glow reflected on his helmet visor. Ryan, she said softly, if you do this, the storm might destroy your ship too. He looked down at her and smiled. Then we'll both find out what happens next. Her glowing eyes stared at him for a long second, surprised, touched, uncertain. You would risk your life for me? Of course, he said simply. I don't leave people behind. Even glowing ones, she smiled faintly. You humans, always reckless. Always human, he replied. The wind outside grew louder, the sky flashing brighter. The ground trembled under their feet. Ryan adjusted his grip and started running toward the north, guided by the blinking light on his wrist. The glowing plants bent as he passed and blue sparks danced in the air. Behind him, Lyra whispered weakly, You shouldn't have come here. Too late, he said through his teeth. You've already made it interesting. A distant roar echoed through the valley, the sound of energy waves colliding. The air shimmered like glass. Ryan's boots pounded against the glowing soil. The storm was catching up, a wave of bright plasma chasing them like liquid fire. He could feel the static on his skin, the burning in the air. Lyra clung to him, her faint light growing weaker. Ryan, she whispered, you cannot save me. My core will collapse before we reach your ship. He shook his head. Don't you dare give up on me now. I'm not afraid of dying, she said softly. I'm afraid of leaving my work unfinished. Ryan tightened his grip. Then you'll live to finish it. I promise. Ahead, the ridge glowed faintly and the signal beacon from his shuttle. Relief flooded through him. But just as they neared it, a massive blast of energy struck the ground behind them, throwing them both forward. Ryan fell, shielding Lyra with his body. The ground cracked, blue fire rising from the soil. He looked back and the storm was almost on top of them. Lyra looked up at him weakly. Go, leave me. He met her eyes, glowing dim now like fading stars, and shook his head. Not happening. He took a deep breath, grabbed her hand, and activated his suit's power core. The blue lights on his armor flared brightly. What are you doing? She asked faintly. Giving your third core a boost, he said. You said it reads energy, right? Then read mine. Ryan, you'll do it, he shouted. The storm hit, a wall of light swallowing everything, and in that moment, the human and the alien glowed together, one burning blue, one golden, as the world around them vanished into pure light. The world was light, blinding, endless light. Then came silence. When Ryan Cole opened his eyes, everything was still. The glowing storm that had swallowed the valley was gone, leaving behind a sky of dark silver and thin clouds that shimmered like wet glass. The air smelled sharp, almost metallic. He blinked and coughed, rolling onto his side. His armor was cracked, small arcs of blue energy flickering across it. His body ached everywhere, but he was alive. Beside him, Lyra lay motionless on the glowing ground. Her silver skin was dull now, her veins dim. Ryan's heart jumped. "Lyra," he said quickly, crawling toward her. "Hey, come on. Talk to me." No response. He put a hand on her shoulder. "Cold. Too cold." He shook her gently. "Don't do this. Not after I carried you through a lightning storm." Still nothing. Ryan clenched his jaw. He remembered what she'd told him. If the core breaks, the Velan dies. He looked at his wrist. The power levels in his suit were almost empty, only 4% left. But he didn't care. He pressed his hand against the faintly glowing mark on her chest where her third core was supposed to be. "Come on," he whispered. "You said it connects body and memory, right? Then wake up, read me. Read my energy." He took a deep breath, then activated the last of his suit's power. A blue pulse flowed from his palm into her chest. For a moment, nothing happened. Then faintly, a small spark of gold appeared beneath his hand. It grew, spreading like sunrise through her veins. Lyra gasped suddenly, her body arching as light rushed back into her skin. Ryan let out a shaky laugh. "There you are." Her golden eyes opened slowly, dazed but alive. "Ryan, you fool," she whispered weakly. He grinned. "Good morning to you too." "You gave too much," she murmured. "Your energy levels are falling." "Yeah, well," he said with a tired smile, "it's only energy. I'll sleep it off." She looked at him for a long second, then sat up slowly, her glow strengthening. "You should not have done that. Your body is fragile." He laughed quietly. "So I keep hearing." Lyra studied his cracked armor and burned gloves. Her expression softened. "Still, you saved me." Ryan shrugged. "Guess I'm full of bad ideas." For a few moments, neither spoke. The world around them was calm again. The glowing plants bent softly in the breeze, whispering in a language only the wind knew. Finally, Ryan broke the silence. "Is the storm gone for good?" Lyra looked at the horizon, where faint golden clouds swirled. "For now. The planet's energy has been reset, but it will return. Then we should leave," he said. She turned to him, her face thoughtful. "Leave? To where?" "My ship," Ryan said, pointing toward a faint metallic gleam in the distance. "If it's still standing, we can get you off this planet." Lyra's eyes softened. "You would take me with you?" He smiled faintly. "I didn't come this far to leave you behind." For the first time, she looked uncertain. "My people will not welcome you. To them, humans are still primitive, loud, reckless, emotional." "Good," Ryan said, grinning. "That means I'll fit right in." Lyra stared at him, and then unexpectedly she laughed. It was a clear, beautiful sound that made the silver plant sway brighter for a moment. "Very well," she said. "But first you must rest. You gave too much energy. If you try to walk now, you'll collapse." Ryan started to argue, but his knees gave out almost immediately. He laughed weakly. "You might be right." She reached out and caught him before he hit the ground. Her hands were warm now, the golden light in her skin steady and calm. "Strange," she said softly. "When I touched your energy, I felt something I never knew existed in humans." "What's that?" he asked, eyes half closed. "Courage without reason. You gave everything for someone you barely know." Ryan chuckled faintly. "That's kind of our thing." Lyra shook her head gently. "No, Ryan, that is something greater. Something rare." She laid him gently on the glowing soil. "Rest, I will protect you now." Ryan's voice was faint. "You protect me?" "That's new," she smiled. "Balance, remember? You gave, now I give." His eyes drifted shut, exhaustion pulling him under. The last thing he heard was her quiet hum, a melody that sounded like starlight and memory. Hours passed. When Ryan finally stirred, the sky was pale gold, and Lyra stood nearby watching the horizon. "You're awake?" she said softly. "Barely," he replied, sitting up. "Is the ship still there?" She nodded. "Yes, but the path is dangerous now. The ground is unstable from the storm." He groaned and stood slowly. "We'll make it." She turned toward him, her eyes glowing brighter than before. "I have stabilized my core." "Thanks to you," Ryan smiled. "Glad to help." Lyra looked at him seriously. "No, Ryan, you don't understand. You shared your life force. It changed my core's structure. I'm not the same anymore," he blinked. "Changed? How?" She stepped closer, her golden glow reflecting in his eyes. "It now carries part of you, human energy." Ryan stared at her, speechless. Lyra smiled softly. Maybe. That makes me a little human too. Before he could respond, the ground beneath them rumbled again, faint but rising. Lyra looked toward the horizon where a wall of blue clouds was forming once more. The storm is returning, she whispered. We have little time. Ryan tightened his gloves. Then let's go, together. They ran toward the shining ridge, two figures glowing in gold and blue light, side by side. And as they moved through the trembling air, Ryan thought to himself, maybe humanity wasn't just about surviving. Maybe it was about sharing the one thing that no science could measure, the will to never give up. The wind roared across the plains of Vela, carrying a deep hum through the glowing air. Above, the sky churned with blue and gold lightning. The storm was back, stronger than before. The ground itself pulsed like a heartbeat, alive but unstable. Commander Ryan Cole ran as fast as he could, his boots striking the trembling ground. Beside him, Lyra glided effortlessly, her silver hair flowing like mist, her golden eyes glowing against the chaos. In the distance, Ryan could finally see it, his ship. The hull was scarred and blackened from the first storm, but it was still standing, a lonely beacon of human design in an alien world. There, he shouted over the wind. If we reach it, I can get us off this planet. Lyra looked up at the sky, her expression tense. The storm is feeding on the planet's core energy. It's accelerating. If it reaches full strength, this world will collapse into itself. Ryan frowned. Collapse? You mean like explode? She nodded. In a way. It will consume everything and even me. He stopped for a moment, breathless. Then we have to leave now. But Lyra shook her head. I can't. My energy core is now linked to the planet's balance. When you gave me your power, it connected me deeper to this world. Ryan's heart sank. Wait, you're saying if the planet goes, you go with it? Her golden eyes softened. Yes, if I leave now, the storm will grow uncontrolled. Your ship will never make it out. Ryan took a step closer. Then I'll stay. She stared at him in disbelief. Stay? You'll die, human. Then we die together, he said simply. Lyra's expression broke on a mixture of anger and sorrow. No, you are meant to live. You carry too much light for death. Ryan clenched his fists. You think I'm just going to walk away while you burn out here? Not happening, she smiled faintly. You are stubborn. Human nature, he said with a grin that didn't quite hide the pain in his eyes. Lyra looked down, the glow in her veins pulsing brighter. I can stop the storm, she whispered, but I'll need to release my entire core. It will end me, but it will save the planet and you. Ryan grabbed her wrist. There has to be another way. She met his gaze, calm and steady. There isn't. You gave me life. Now I give it back to you. The wind howled around them. The storm rolled closer, a wall of living light devouring the horizon. Ryan could see streaks of golden lightning tearing through the clouds, shaping symbols he didn't understand. He swallowed hard. Lyra, please, don't do this, she smiled softly. You humans always say that before doing something brave. Then, before he could stop her, she stepped forward and pressed her glowing hand against his chest. Warmth surged through him, soft, gentle, and endless. What are you? Sharing the last of my energy, she whispered. Enough to keep you alive when I'm gone. Ryan tried to pull away, but she held him still. No, he said, his voice cracking. Don't. Her eyes shone bright gold, tears like liquid light rolling down her silver cheeks. Thank you for reminding me what courage feels like. The ground shook violently. The storm was almost upon them. Lyra stepped back, her body glowing brighter and brighter until she looked like a star in human shape. Her third core, that golden light within her, expanded, filling the sky with ribbons of energy. Lyra, Ryan shouted. She turned one last time, her voice calm, soft, full of peace. Maybe humans don't need a third core, she said. Maybe your heart is enough. Then the light consumed her. A golden wave spread across the plains, meeting the storm head-on. The air exploded in silence, not noise but pure stillness. The raging sky froze, then dissolved into thousands of tiny glowing particles that rained down like falling stars. Ryan shielded his face, then slowly lowered his hands. The storm was gone. The world was quiet again. He stood there for a long time, staring at the spot where she had stood. All that remained was a faint shimmer of golden dust slowly fading into the air. Lyra, he whispered. He turned toward the horizon. The sky was clear now, filled with stars, endless, beautiful, and painfully silent. His ship's engines hummed softly in the distance, waiting. Ryan walked slowly back toward it, every step heavier than the last. When he reached the cockpit, he sat down and looked out through the cracked glass. For a moment, he thought he saw her reflection in the stars, smiling. "Maybe you were right," he said quietly. "Maybe we are complete in our own way." He smiled faintly, started the engines, and lifted off. The ship rose above the shining valley, carrying a single human heart and a memory made of gold. As he left the planet's atmosphere, a faint light flickered in the distance, a golden star forming where none had been before. Ryan stared at it, his voice soft and full of awe. "Goodbye, Lyra." And as his ship disappeared into the stars, a gentle voice echoed faintly through the comm system, familiar, warm, and filled with light. "Goodbye, Ryan. Until the next life." He smiled through the tears that filled his eyes. Somewhere deep inside him, he felt a faint pulse, a small spark of gold beating next to his heart. She wasn't gone. Not completely, and as the stars swallowed his ship, the universe whispered back, quiet, infinite, and alive. In the end, it wasn't the third core that defined them. It was the heart that made them both human.